My goodness, where has the time gone? The season is done. Norwich City end proceedings with a 4-2 victory against already relegated Cardiff. Um, I sit here and it doesn't feel that long ago since we were talking about the season starting and a new era under Johannes Hoftorp and Ben Napper and what the potential was for this season. And I'm still none the wiser, really, as to where Norwich City are at. What the expectations are, what we think our potential is, what our kind of ceiling was this season. And that's kind of confusing. We've had 46 games of a championship season to try and work that out. And I'm still not really none the wiser. There were points this season where I thought top six was a genuine possibility. I remember thinking games against Coventry, last gasp winners, or Hull, or Plymouth, or Watford, where we've blown teams away. There's been so many games at home this season where we've scored 4 or more goals. So you've watched that and you've gone, okay, there's something in this team. There's quality, there's talent, there's cohesion, there's a structure about what we're trying to do. And then I've watched us away from home and we've looked lost, and even a lot of the home games this season against Sheffield Wednesday and Oxford and Preston and Bristol City, where you go, this team is pretty useless at this level. And actually, we've kind of finished exactly where we deserve to finish, pretty much bang on mid-table. And I think most people thought that we would finish mid-table at the start of the season. Most fans, most pundits thought that was probably the viable finish. We'd lost Rowe, we'd lost Gabi Sara, we'd lost Adam Ida. It was a big turnaround. It was a new era at Norwich City. I certainly don't think anyone thought that Johannes Hoftorp would have been sacked if we'd have finished there. But he has. He's gone. And Jack Wilshere is the interim head coach. I'm fully expecting him to become the next permanent head coach of Norwich City. I think I would be pretty confident in saying that is the next step for the Canaries. We will get on to whether that's the right call or not. I think it's worth touching. My voice is nearly gone. It was a really joyful day at Carrow Road today, and that's also confusing because, I don't actually think the vibe towards Johannes was that bad at points. The performances had become really poor, but I still think that Johannes and Glenn Riddlesholm had the backing of most of the Norwich City fans, but the atmosphere had turned really toxic. And within 2 games of Jack Wilshere, there was a kind of party atmosphere about the place. Was that because we were celebrating Onel Hernandez and Angus Gunn having their kind of contracts not renewed? Was that because we're probably expecting Josh Sargent and Paul Science to leave, so we wanted to give them a send-off? Was it because we played Cardiff off the park for most of that game and scored 4 goals and it was sunny and we were having a good time? Or was it because we're just trying to find some fun and some light in this kind of current climate? I think it's a confusing time to be a Norwich City fan. I'm concerned that we might be in this situation in terms of kind of mid-table mediocrity for a while. I don't think it takes much to turn it around, but I'm worried that we're maybe in that position where we're trying to commit to a project and then it sort of unravels, and then we try and commit to another project and then that unravels, and you're just constantly kind of recycling. I hope I'm wrong. I want to get behind Jack Wilshere if he is named the next permanent head coach, which I think he will be. I like how he talks. I like how he sets his team up. I think he has complete buy-in from his players. I think he has respect from his players. But it's another massive risk, and it's another big risk from Ben Napper. I think Ben Napper is exposed. I think we need some seniority around him, and I think that will happen under Mark Atanasio. But unless there's a massive summer transfer window, it's hard to say that next season will be any different. We're likely to lose Sargent and Science. We've definitely lost Gunn. I think the likes of Nunez, Doyle will obviously be gone. I think there was a point on today where there was the 11 players on the pitch for Norwich. I counted, I think that there would be 2 or 3 that are there next season. That's, depending on which way you kind of land, that's either a good thing or a bad thing. It's going to be a massive summer rebuild, whatever happens. there is going to be a lot of turnover, and that's hard to get right. I suspect Ben Napper is thinking that he wishes he had a little bit more money in the bank in terms of credit that he's earned. I don't think he's going to have much time off this summer, put it that way. The Championship, I think, will be stronger next season. It's just been a really strange season. There's been some real ups. There's been some real downs. I was a believer in Johannes. I thought he'd get it right. He didn't. I think it was probably justified, the reason he was sacked in the end. I was kind of saddened that the players not threw him under the bus. That's probably a slightly harsh critique, but there was a clear drop-off, a clear lack of effort, I think, towards the end, and that's disappointing to see. Jack Wilshere has found a response in these players in the last couple of games, but I think most people could have found a response. It was remarkable, the difference in effort levels and application from Johannes' kind of final few games against Portsmouth and Millwall compared to Jack Wilshere's in Middlesbrough and Cardiff. But in terms of what Jack Wilshere wanted to do, he's probably achieved that. He's picked up a good result against Cardiff. He didn't lose away from home. He's said publicly that he wants the job. He feels like he's ready for the job, and I think Ben Napper will probably quite like having a friendly ally in and around him. So I think we'll be going to battle with Wilshere next season. That might be different. There's a lot of work to do. I still think there's huge potential with this Norwich squad. I like some of the young players we've got in Schwartau and Forson, and Jacob Wright could well sign, Kellen Fisher. There is a core there to kind of build from, and we shall see how it ends. But I think my message of this video will be one of, I really enjoyed today. I thought it was a nice moment, and it was a nice moment in time for everyone involved. And ultimately, we need to buy into this project. And even if you don't necessarily believe that Wilshere is the right man or that he's inexperienced, ultimately, we kind of have to accept what we're given, and we have to buy in, and we have to have patience. Might not be the right word, but we have to have acceptance and belief that we're trying to kick on in the right direction. I like Wilshere as a bloke. I think he's a good man, and he's had a good education, and I hope that the players buy into that as well. And the likes of Hernandez, the likes of Garn, even Sorensen has won the Championship with Norwich. We've been on journeys with all of these players, and ultimately whoever comes in will go on journeys with those. So let's just hope that the next few decisions that are made are right. I hope for Napper's sake, I hope for Wilshere's sake, I hope for the players' sake, that those next decisions are correct, and Norwich can go on a new journey and a new chapter, and finally turn this page. It feels like we're in a real kind of journey at the moment of just like Championship mediocrity, and I don't want to become a Preston, I don't want to become a Stoke, I don't want to become a Swansea where we're just kind of padding along in the Championship and who knows, like potentially caught up in relegation battles. I want to be in the top six. I want to be fighting for Premier League success, and hopefully that comes soon. But for me, thank you for all of your support this season. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for the recent love and comments on the Delia podcast. That is a huge honour to do, and I'm glad that so many of you have enjoyed it so far. And if you haven't already, then please do head over and watch it. We will be back very soon to cover what's going to be a really hectic summer. The 2025-2026 Championship season, I know it's going to be up and down. This season has just absolutely flown by. It feels like last week when I was sat in my car post-Oxford away going, oh my goodness, like what are we facing up to here? And now I'm sitting here and we've just finished the season. So I hope you've enjoyed this season. I hope you've enjoyed the content on TNC this season. It's never dull supporting Norwich City. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch up with you all again very soon. Take care. Let me know what you think of the season. Where do we go next? Are you happy with the trajectory? Do you think Wilshere will be the next head coach? I'm talking like it's already a thing. Who knows? There might be a late change. Let me know. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.